Next question I get is, as a newbie who wants to know about technical analysis, how and where should he or she start, right? Good question. There is no one right approach, okay? But I would say, again, I'll give you a guideline. TA, in short, technical analysis, has two big categories. One is a systematic approach. The other one is a discretionary. Did I spell it correctly? Okay, discretionary approach. So you might want to start off with first, again, understanding yourself as an individual. Are you more math, engineering, science kind of person? Okay, or are you more artistic? Now, what I mean by that is systematic is where you are a person who enjoys very objective stuff, like 1 + 1 is 2. Okay, a straight line is a straight line. Okay, so it's kind of like very what we call binary, right? 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 1 + 1 is 2. Color, red plus blue, you get orange. No. Red plus yellow, you get orange. Okay. So if you are tuned to see things like that, you're more of a systematic person, right? And most of the time, if you enjoy math, you kind of specialize in math, science, engineering. Likely you are trained to be more systematic. Okay, the arts people, like drawing, painting, music, performing arts, whatever, right? It's more discretionary because to them, there's no black and white only. You have a whole spectrum of white, different shades of white, gray, different shades of black, and then black. I hope that kind of example give you a better understanding what I mean by discretionary, right? So there's no such thing as 1 + 1 must be 2, right? They can be quite creative and say that it can be other things, right? So why is this important? Is of course, technical analysis is very broad. At one end of the spectrum, technical analysis can be very systematic. At the other end of the spectrum, technical analysis can be quite discretionary. So what I mean, give you some example. Okay, if we talk about this thing called price action, okay, and one of the common price action candlestick formation is called a pin bar. Now you might heard of this term, you might study about this pin bar before, you might know how it looks like in your head, you might have a vision of how this pin bar candle looks like. But to be honest, pin bar itself is more discretionary unless you systemize it. What I mean, show you some example. Okay, let's go over to euro dollar. Okay, this is a daily chart. Just quick one, right? Just to do some quick exercise. Okay, is this a pin bar? Right, this one here. Probably. Is this a pin bar? Is this a pin bar? Is this a pin bar? Okay. Another one. Is this a pin bar? The next one here as well. Is this a pin bar? Right? Is this also a pin bar? So you realize, hey, now you start to question what is a pin bar, right? So if you don't have a systematic way of defining it, okay, you realize that it can be quite quote-unquote confusing if you are a systematic person. If you're a very discretionary person, you might say that it looks like a pin bar. Yes, it's a pin bar. This one doesn't really look like it. Not really. It's not a pin bar, right? So discretionary people would describe things like that. Okay. So you need to ask yourself, are you more systematic or discretionary? So you want to then start off from there, okay? Because you want to always align something with your style. If you're discretionary, you try to be systematic, you find it very challenging, it's not going to work for you. You don't want to start from there. If you are systematic and you try out discretionary aspect, it's not going to work for you, you don't want to start there. Okay, so going back to this, okay, where should you start? Okay, start by this, understanding which personality are you, then work from there. Then the next part over here, okay, after you understand this, okay, the next part over here is to also understand that in technical analysis, we have what we call indicator based analysis, which means you really focus a lot on indicators, okay, and then you have the other one, which is what we call price action, which you hear a lot, okay, and of course price action here can be things like support resistance, okay, it can be chart patterns, you know, even Elliott Wave, we put it under price action. Basically, you don't rely on indicator, you look at how the price is developing, whether it's support resistance, you know, volume, whatever it is, those are called price action, right? So you then again want to go into this kind of like broad categories and see which one you're more interested in, okay. And then of course, if you start to dive into it, like indicator, there's so many indicators, right? You pick, again, start off with the simplest one, but don't stop there, okay. That's how you flow through, right? You first understand yourself, understand that TA has broad categories, see which one you're more interested in, start off with that, and start with the simplest one, slowly move up the ladder towards more advanced stuff, okay. You don't want to start off with the most advanced stuff and then suddenly you say that, oh, it's too difficult, you give up, okay. So you start off with the simplest one so that you get a better understanding, you get some experience, and then, you know, you move up the ladder from there. Yeah, I hope that helps. Good. So you realize my style here, whenever I share and I would say coach traders, I don't like to give them direct answer, because in a group setting like this, I don't know you individually, okay. I won't be able to give you a direct answer, because it's not gonna be helpful if I thought you were this type of personality but you weren't, okay. Then it's not gonna be helpful to you. So my role here, again, just to highlight and stress this again, is to really provide you a guide, a direction you can work towards, give you the principles, give you the framework, so that you know where to work on, okay. So that's what I can do to give you that clarity, okay. So I hope that clears, okay.